wanna just leave that for us? Go
Do
back
you
in.
mind?
Yeah, I think you need to hang out and experience some of this. Take your checks, cause I'm not dropping them. I know what happens when I lose one of them.
Sure, okay.
Are you able to hook heaters up downstairs?
Huh?
Can you hook a heater up downstairs?
No,
Yeah, we
totally
can't,
agree.
because it's so confused.
I got-
Now you're gonna have company.
Yep.
Yeah, my bathroom's warm if you wanna use it.
Oh, I'll remember that.
I mean,
Thank you.
seriously, if you want. Okay.
It's like sitting on a block of ice over here.
You do realize everything you say on camera.
Yeah, I do. But it
You
is.
just don't care, huh?
No.
What are you hunting, brother?
She put these right here, I wanna put some stuff behind that. Get some paperwork on that.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
On your travel allowances?
Yeah,
That's why I threw it aside. I figured that doesn't look good.
that's why.
You got a log, you go.
There should be another one on my cell phone.
Justin, you said these,
The cell phone one is
Yeah,
in
stuff.
right there. Thank God we didn't have no ice yet. Have you even been treating? Haven't, oh, yeah. Nope. Good.
I guess there's a lot of people thought it was gonna be something Saturday night, it wasn't.
It's raining like a dickens. Have anything washed out or flooded?
No, not that I know of. Maybe something that we haven't heard about yet. You know, hardly go to basketball game, because everybody wants to talk about what I'm gonna do for road. Gotta give me a seat up in that press box, I think, just to stay away from everybody.
It's glamorous. That's what it is.
See you added to your likes there.
High rent district out there.
Got the laser show going on now, you can come out and see it.
Yeah.
I don't have it set to music though yet.
Huh?
I said, I don't have it set to music yet.
He's not quite there yet.
No, I'll be able to tell you.
Joe, are you allowed to use flags like in the wintertime?
Like where, on the road?
Yeah. Do they used to go up there and get it? I think they, somebody bought a whole pile of flags. And you
I
get
warm
that-
up a little bit.
Yeah, it's warmer over there.
Cinders?
Yeah.
Not fly ash, it's like road cinders, like,
Well, yeah, I'm talking about flags.
I've never heard of anybody using fly ash on the road. I mean,
Well, I talked to, this guy helps me some, I work for Aubrey, Polk County South. And he said that EEI gave them, well, I don't know if the cinders or what it was, he called it fly ash. And they put that on the road, said it really helped. And I asked him, I said, well, I didn't think you could use that anymore. I said, well, they use
It's a EEI, for some reason, they don't have any cinders is what they told me, and I asked them point blank about any kind of stuff that they have, and they wouldn't give any of it out because of environmental concerns.
That's what I was thinking. It's
Oh, that's what I was.
sulfur or heavy metals and stuff.
But he said they got it down there.
I don't know, that pile of cinders that we've got out there that we use occasionally, that came from the Lake of Egypt power plant. I'm pretty sure
Some different
that was
materials, some
years
of them.
ago. And they, for a while there, they were selling it to somebody else. And I think now you might be able to buy some of it from them.
I
But
think
it's
it went to
expensive.
Louisiana.
I mean, it's half the price of what salt is.
Oh, really?
$30 a ton.
Well, yeah.
Salt is around this year, salt is around, I think, 55 or something like that this year.
What about sand? Would that be any benefit?
If you can keep it dry, it would be good, but I don't really don't know where to get good sand to do it.
You about have to have
You
a
have a
building to
source.
keep it in, yeah.
You almost have to have.
Yeah, it's pretty, City of Metropolis called me one time and, wanted sand. And Carter said they was out of sand. And I never heard a ready mix plant run out of sand. So I went down to Cold Town and they gave me, 7 or 8 loads,
Of sand.
but it was full of rocks.
Well, see, that's,
After the,
River sand, yeah,
yeah, that's. what
yeah,
being a
after
problem
the
with it.
snow left, all the intersections
cover the rock.
covered rocks.
And that's all gonna go in the storm drains too.
I'd be afraid it would kind of clog up our spreader boxes too, if they had these big rocks, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, I wouldn't go back there and get one of those rocks. Of course, you couldn't see them very well then. Now, if you're saying, well, it's about, I think it's $9 or $10 a ton.
But where do they sell it for that?
I think Carter,
Cotton? I mean,
That's
that'd be a
what I gave.
possibility to try. We would just have to find somewhere to store it. I mean, we could store it in, you know, we've got salt bins there and,
Mhm.
you know, one of them we could store sand in, one we could store salt in, but like right now, we just got our salt in for this year last Friday and
Mhm.
both bins have salt in it now, so I don't have a place to put sand right now.
Well, I just wonder. Yeah, well, if it's real bad, they probably won't be open either, but, you know, if they took a scoop or two out of there, it would be dry. And that's the new thing with, you know, I don't know.
I mean, it definitely helps because it gives a little traction, you
Yeah.
know, on your wheels.
That's right. I just think price wise, you know, might help a little bit, but of course the salt, you know, the melting faster, I guess. Good.
This is what I have up till a minute. I'm having computer problems over there, so I'll bring a updated one in about before the meeting's over. You know that? Okay.
This old Joseph, yeah.
We got some good little heaters down at Headroom, and it's working pretty good over there.
I throw a breaker every time I plug anything in. We had two, and we tried it yesterday.
We fell last week.
Blew the breaker.
How about over here?
Bad thing, so
I got a little
I
one
hang
over
up
here.
on it, so
Really?
if he calls you, I'll tell you the whole story. If he don't, then don't worry about it.
Oh,
Kevin Shelley's his name.
go down and use Lori.
Yeah, that's what she was.
From Wobble Church. What was the matter with that gentleman? Road,
The older we replaced that bridge, that pipe.
they're on down.
We just aggravated it out. Somebody was
Cause it's rough.
driving real crazy and just about lost it on there and about crashed into it. And I was like, well, I can't help people driving reckless. Me about us doing that job.
Well, that's what settles you, but,
It'd get tar and chip next
yeah,
summer,
you, they,
but it's all gotta settle in first. Otherwise it'd be, they'll still be unhappy.
Anyway, it's very bad. Put that on me that day.
one, did we ever figure out what Mike Kellerman is supposed to make?
Yeah, it is this right here.
Okay. Is,
You were right, when you all said that,
They've been splitting it.
they'd been splitting it,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's he been on the job, 19 days, 20 days, is that what he said?
been busy every day?
20, right?
Yeah.
Today's
He's been
20.
busy, and he's been really, really busy.
He's been raised.
He'd be wondering. resign, imagine. He didn't know he was gonna get into that.
Jason at home now.
He went to get warm.
Hey, no broken bones. They've already run a CT scan and can't see nothing. They're like, you know, you probably ought to have a boot. I'm like, I've been walking on it for 5 weeks, what? I'm like, nah, we think this will be better. Okay. So that's what we did.
Juanita, what did Everett Mounts do down to the farmers?
We have no idea.
See, I thought he moved to Chicago.
That's the guy
Hopefully
from
he was.
Wayne, isn't it?
No, that's,
It's a different man.
that's Patrick Wright.
He came up there, heating,
Fine.
repair and base and all before. Matter of fact, we're gonna just hold on to that because we don't have any deeds.
Well, I mean, Marcia's down there, I'll ask her.
Did I see that good? Just to look at.
Now?
Yeah. just to look at it.
What's good?
Huh? It's all good. Hold on. See that just to do a little recap here.
Get my phone call.
Yes, sir, I did. We give that to Juanita. This is the same stuff you got the other day. I didn't know if they keep their copies or not. Okay. So what I passed out was just the renewal. That's what I'm back here to, one of the things to talk to you about. What we're discussing was the renewal. It's a 3% increase on the stop loss, but they've given us the option to do a 0. They've got one individual they would like to see us move to the ACP, and the discussion was because that individual is a retiree, whether or not the county picks up the full cost of that, or if we continue to let him pay his cost, and then the county picks up everything above and beyond. So basically what we're looking at is keeping the stop loss the same, and you know, the increase really is only $6,295, which doesn't sound that much, but this individual seems to hit the reinsurance about every year. So, you know, Symetra has given us the option to put him on ACP and get no increase and keep everything the way it is. There is a 5% bump on the ag factors, but ag factors only come into play if we're having lots of claims, and so far we've only had one a year, so. Any thoughts?
I don't know, is this first time Jeff's seen it?
We
Seen
spoke
it,
about it on
seen
the
it,
phone.
but We've
yeah.
talked, yeah.
Okay. What's your thoughts, Jeff?
I kinda feeling like we need to see if we can get him on that.
Okay.
That's my opinion. He or she.
The biggest question would be, if they're not a retiree, the county picks up all the premium, all the out-of-pockets. Do we wanna continue to do that for this retiree? I know Jason brought up the last time that, you know, his fear is if we do it for this one.
We set a precedent.
Right, which, you know, my thought would be to continue doing it the way we've always done it, because it's gonna save you money. The last ACP we did saved you about $100,000. And we're talking, you know, cost would be 18,000 or thereabouts, depending, a little older in age there, so, but that's keeping it from hitting your 35,000 stop loss and then anything above that, so. And they've been running 60 to 80 all the time.
But ultimately, it's up to the retiree to make the decision.
Yep, it is. What do you guys charge? I guess they're paying the regular premium amount,
I don't know. If they're retired.
because IMRF is paying it and taking it out of their
Yeah, it's
check.
probably the full amount then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it, you know, it would save them the full amount, which would give them a good incentive
To go this
to
route.
go this route.
So if we make a decision today, we necessarily don't know which decision, because you gotta
Well,
talk to the retiree.
Right, I can reach out to them and get a hold of them. I would think if you said, look, you're not gonna have to pay that premium, and as long as you're on this until, I think they can stay on yours to
65,
65.
yeah, and then he'll be on
Medicare.
Medicare.
Yeah. Then I think they would jump at that, cause that premium's what, $500-600 a month or so that they're,
634.
okay, so that's, I mean, all I can do is call and say, hey, here's the options,
Yeah.
you know, but I would think someone that's probably on a limited income would probably,
I'd like to have under 600 a month.
Yeah.
Myself.
Well, yeah, I don't see how they go wrong there.
So you are interested in proposing just, option one, I guess you would say, or renewal A?
well, it would be renewal B if we can,
Renewal B, okay.
if we can move them, and I think that's a fairly good shot.
Suits me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So,
Is that a second by you there? With that motion?
Roger.
Now we've got a pilot in there.
all right, I will let them know, I will reach out to the members and let you know, conversation and what we decide. Like I said, I can't imagine them,
Turning that offer down.
yeah, so. Then the last piece of business I've got was extending the TPA agreement. Ah, there we go. This is the same that I gave you as the last time, but just a reminder in case you can't find it. This is just a snapshot, you still got yours, yeah, boy. Keep my notes. Just a snapshot of the 6-year comparison. We've had you guys for the last 5 years and wanted to show you kind of what we've been able to do. You know, every single year down there on total plan costs, the costs have come in less than what you're,
What we used to pay,
yeah.
actual numbers.
Most of your renewals with Symetra have either been no increase to the stop loss or low single digits. And, you know, previously Blue Cross was handing out low double digits. And again, we've also not raised any deductibles or anything like that, which a lot of employers today are raising deductibles. In fact, I think you have the lowest deductible of any client I have. $250 is a pretty good deal. A a lot of mine is 1,000, 1,500, I've got some counties in Missouri that's 5,000. So, kudos to you guys, you've been doing well. You know, that was one thing that we told you when we took over, we would come in and show you how to reduce costs without, reducing or increasing deductibles and stuff to the employees, and I think the proof is in the pudding there. And we look for that to continue. So, what we're asking for is an extension on our TPA agreement. Currently, if we don't get a 60-day notice, it automatically renews, so we're actually good for 17. Currently, the admin fee is $25, and what we're proposing is, since it's technically automatically renewed, we're gonna keep that 25 for 2017, and then beginning in 2018, it's gonna go to $27.50 per employee per month. That $25 admin fee has been the same since we took over, so next year will make it 6 years total, but that's what we've been charging. And then,
Would you say, was it 2750?
yeah, it's, there,
January 17?
January of 18. Because technically you've already renewed under the old contract, so we're gonna keep that. We didn't think that was fair to increase it $250 with that contract already there. Now the other thing that has changed, one thing that we're doing differently on the ACPs moving forward is we are charging $500 one-time per case fee to enroll someone in the ACP, because they do tend to be a lot more needy, and make sure that, you know, we get their EOBs, get things taken care of, get their cards to them. We're involved a lot heavier with most of that. That would be beginning January 1st. Now, this individual we were talking about, that's not gonna come into play, just anybody forward after that, so. I think we've only got one other group, and we're just doing this as the TPA agreements renew. So, we've been doing this, actually been charging for about 2 years, so.
How many cases a year we average on that?
ACP?
Maybe one,
Yeah, I mean.
or less since the beginning.
Oh, yeah, oh.
Well, of course,
yeah.
it wasn't an option.
Right, yeah, it's just been, we've been doing this for about 2.5 years. The one we were just talking about earlier, if they take that, would be the third one here. So, the first one took it, did all their stuff, came off of it, back to the regular plan. Just enrolled someone new the other day on it due to some large claims, and then this one. So, but like I said, that part of it won't start until January 1st, and I'm not gonna charge you for that. We're still talking 2016, so.
What's y'all's thoughts on that?
Seems like it's been working.
Yep. Saved us a lot of money.
Well, I think Ron estimated the ACP has saved all of their groups total in the neighborhood of $20 million. So, it's been a great thing.
You need to sign this.
Yes, yes.
Need that in the form of a motion? Have you got that?
You gotta unbundle a minute, hold on.
expensive for each other.
Okay, just so I'm clear on what happened, are we voting to renew the insurance with mutual medical, or?
We're medical mutual, you can, I get that a
I know, I
lot,
drag
trust
it
me.
around all the time.
Oh, yeah, you're not the only one.
Is that what we're doing?
Mhm. If you give me a copy of that, and I'll have Ron sign off on that. In fact, if you want, here's a blank, I'll just let you have that, and I'll get him to sign off on this and get that back to you guys. So. That's really all I had, so. And these are Larry's. The
What?
Larry's House of Cakes.
Is that
Who's
Marion?
Be passed out over there with all that sugar.
What's
Is
that?
that Marion?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've been by there, I know.
So, all right, if anything else, I'll get out of here.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you guys. Try to stay warm.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Gerald.
Poor Juanita's over here all bundled
I
up.
know.
am, frozen.
See you.
See ya. Good.
Sam, how's it been going?
It's cold, busy.
Jason, you know what that guy did down there on that furnace?
I have no idea. Only one I've been in talk about is just speaking with is the sheriff and Reed Electric.
Well, Reed and Mike Reed, you know, worked on it. I don't know what this guy did, but I'm gonna find out.
All I need to tell you.
By four, I noticed on the agenda that you have a proposed tax increase again that's coming up now, called the tax levy.
Yeah, we're supposed to vote on that today, I believe.
And I'm here to express opposition to that and ask the board to, not to put that additional tax on the people of Massac County for this year. It is, the current tax is set to expire on December 31st, and I'm asking for no tax increase.
Jason, you got that levy with you, we've been over.
How low you, I have it. You guys, a copy of it or whatever?
Yeah, I got one.
I can get mine in a minute. I was looking for something else right now. Here's the ones I have. All right, I mean, if you wanna look at mine, Gerald, you're
Well,
welcome to.
okay, just hang on,
Jeff, you got a copy of it?
I don't know if I do or not.
I thought we-
Not here today.
I think we Put them on your desk over there.
I may have took that out at home.
You want me to go make a copy for you?
Make two, please.
Oh. Michelle, you need a copy?
Make three.
You mean from the increase from last year to this year is what you're suggesting, is that what? Just
No.
to make sure I understand you correctly.
The levy, what the current taxes are to expire on December 31st. When you vote, if you're gonna vote to put taxes on, that's a tax increase from what we have now.
Yeah, we understand that.
Okay, I'm against the tax increase.
So you're against the tax levy being you're against us putting the levy out there, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a tax.
I thought you were first saying that you don't want an increase from the previous year's levy.
I just don't want the whole levy.
Okay.
I want to do away with that part of it.
So, okay, so I understand what you're saying. So like for 4-H youth groups and stuff like that, the 65,000 they receive, do away with that also?
If it's gonna be a property tax on the property.
Yeah. And then the 476,000, the county could do without that 476,000 to function.
Well, you know, it's already coming out that after this 2 campaigns of lies from a government, now we have had almost nearly $2 million of additional money come in the last couple of years. We don't need we don't need a tax increase.
What was the lies?
But first of all, they said there was no money, and now it's coming out where it's been deposited, which has been nearly $2 million. And now we're already having the increases that, I mean, I've been reading the newspaper and watching of what's coming in. You're already getting more increases coming in already off your sales tax.
Southern Seven County Health Department, the 105,000 they get for the levy, do away with that also.
I think you should use your increased monies coming in from your sales tax to offset it, take it out of the general. I think you should give the people of Massac County a property tax relief. I think that if you all want to decide to give 4-H, that's up to you. It's up to you to give Southern Fight. It's up to you to do the budgeting and give it. I'm asking for a property tax relief. Now, that's up to you as county commissioners if you all want to budget that and give out those figures and the numbers. But I am asking for property tax relief.
Well, I'll just say duly noted. You're on the record for that.
Okay.
Was that on the agenda to vote on today?
Yes.
Is this the last day?
No, actually, we have until next Tuesday.
last year we lowered this tuberculosis portion.
Yep.
It was 6,000, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but I know it got lowered. I wonder,
Here's last year.
has anybody compared what their expenses was? Compared to what their levy was? I think Dana could,
Dana don't have anything to do with that, I don't think.
You got,
well,
Miss Mitchell, secretary for that.
even the checks I'm coming out of, running through Dana's office.
It was, by our records here, it was, a levy that was passed in 2015. Tuberculosis was getting 50,000. The levy that was passed in 2016
5,000.
went down to 5,000. Maybe it's almost like, very close to being identical to the one last year. 51,000. I think if we get away with the levy, it'd be faster to the county government, the road district. I don't know how y'all stacked up on you're talking county road district, 292,000 right there. Bridge construction, 88,000. I believe we need to consider.
Have y'all got the budgets done? Well, I mean, you'll even think about voting a tax levy until you get the budgets done.
Yeah, the budget needs to be done first.
The budget needs to be done first. And what I'm actually asking for is really not out of the realm. I mean, when you have, you're only making statements that there's not even a budget. The process is you do a budget, and you look through this, and you put your budgets out there, and you have people like me come in and talk about the issue, and then you do the tax levy. It's not just about coming in here and just taxing the people to death in Massac County. And like I said, if you believe it was the numbers from what they're looking at, that's almost nearly $2 million of new money that's coming in for sales tax. Yes, you can give the people of Massac County a property tax relief, and you can do away with this levy. And you all have got new incomes already coming in. the people of Massac County voted twice for less government cuts. The office holders all campaigned for cuts. Said if you vote no, there's gonna be cuts. And I am only asking for the people of Massac County that's got property not to have another tax increase when you all are already besieged and swimming in money. I think it's absolutely unbelievable to assess another tax increase on the people when you don't even have your budgets and stuff done.
This is a tax levy that we do every year. This is another additional tax
It is,
that
it
we just
expires,
came up
it
with.
expires on December
That
31st.
we came up with. This is something we've done every year, the tax levy. It's been passed
It
every year.
expires on December 31st. and
Expires
it's
every
going
year
to be
on
a
December
new
31st.
tax. And you're voting a new tax then.
Does it expire every year?
Well, that's what you voted for.
Yeah.
And you're voting a new tax then every year. Every time you vote a tax in, you're destroying people's investments in their homes, their farms, and their business. You are actually destroying the government. You've got to have prosperity to have government, and you're destroying it with tax increases. I'm not the county commissioner. You all get to vote for the tax increases. You all get to vote to destroy the people's jobs, lives, and their investments in their homes. And when you vote for this tax increase, that's what you're voting for. You're voting for the destruction of the county.
Well, Sam, I don't know how we can run it without that tax.
Well, how do you know? You don't even have a budget done yet.
I'm sure it's gonna be more than last year.
Well, how do you know? Every office holder campaigned and said if there was a no vote, there was going to be reductions in their offices, and we don't even have the budgets done yet. They're not done.
You're exactly right.
It's being worked on. You understand that?
But you're getting ready to vote a tax increase in before you do the budget. If you'll have enough nerve to vote a tax increase in before you do the budget, vote ahead. Do your roll call. Vote for a tax increase before you even done the budget. I mean, for weeks, I've heard y'all deny that there was even additional money coming in. You're voting for a tax increase before you even done the budget. You all said there's no money's coming in. Now we've pulled the deposits coming in. The money from sales tax has increased recently over nearly $2 million. They're still increasing. Do you think this is a way to run government? But I'm not a county commissioner.
What did Ms. Crockett find out in her survey?
Exactly what I'm saying. It's nearly $2 million.
She was wanting to know where the money went. Did she ever figure it out?
Well, she's been asking you all. You all spend it.
She's been down to the treasurer's office and that, she's been sending everywhere.
Well, where did it go?
I don't know. I haven't.
Where did it? Don't you think you should find out where the money went and how it's done and do the budget before you put on another tax increase? That is absolutely not outlandish what I'm asking for. That's not outlandish what she asked for, and that's not outlandish what the people voted for twice. They voted for the government footprint to get smaller for tax reduction. Has there been any reductions in government since the vote on November 8th? No.
concerning the tax levy, my opinion is some taxes are necessary, and some are not. That's just my belief, I guess. We learned last year about this time that apparently my beliefs go against state law.
Well, that's not necessarily just, what they said is that on these different items, you'll have to budget for it. It didn't say that you have to tax for it on a land property tax. Now, I will want to correct that. Now, what, Jason said, for stuff that you have to do, you have to do, but that's a budgeting question. What I'm talking about here is taxing the property tax. People are wanting a property tax decrease. Illinois is the most taxed property state in the nation. And if you want Massac County, which I am going to go out on a limb here, for some reason, and maybe it's because I want to believe this, I think that you want Massac County to do better. I think Jason does.
Okay.
I think Jim does. But taxing yourself to prosperity doesn't work. And when you're in a state with the #1 property tax in the nation, and we're next door to a state that's coming in at 37 or 38, if you want prosperity in this county, you're going to have your taxes almost 2/3 of what we are setting within 1 mile of where we're competing. And yes, if you all want to give a 4-H for money, you give it to the 4-H for money, or anything else on this list. I'm asking you not to tax property. And this is not something new that's coming out from just me. It's being said all over the state. State government is saying, we are changing, even here in Illinois. The federal level is saying it. They're saying that we're going to have 40-hour work weeks in government. That's like a county courthouse. You know, I hear people say the county courthouse should be open 40 hours a week. And say that you're going to do all of this idea to put another tax on us when you haven't done your budget. You've got the money coming in. You all can't account for the money realistically from when Ms. Crockett was asking where it was. Once again, I didn't even ask for that today. But yes, you all can't even account for that today. I'm asking for you all to do your budget, look at it, and do away with the property tax. You've got to make the county competitive. The city has to, and I'm not the one to just pick on you all. The city has to be competitive. The education, such as Jason pointed out a year ago, there's a lot of tax dollars on property tax from education. And the education board have to look at a new way of doing business and doing government and producing education. So what I'm asking here, I'm being very nice, I'm not calling no names, I'm being as nice as I possibly can in the situation, but I'm asking you to do the budgets, get rid of the property tax, and review this. And don't put the additional tax on. Like I said, from what Ms. Crockett is saying, you've got the money to do away with this tax. And even Mr. Gary has just walked in. I went to his office. I said, are we making sure that we're getting all the taxes? Well, due and assessed. You know, I looked up on, the city has like 177 tax parcels here in the city, in the county. Are we taxing those in? I mean, just because governments own money or own land, if it's not for a government purpose, you know, there should be a whole revamping of government before we just say, let's put another tax out here and raise people's taxes. Are we getting where our taxes are where we're coming to and what we have? And, you know, like, I guess Juanita's in charge of what, the 5th districts in the county?
No, I put on the ends, the city does the TIF districts.
Okay. Well,
All I do is put in the information.
I guess with Harris, did they file bankruptcy? Now, does that do away with the TIF district?
city, not the county.
But if it was set up for a bankruptcy, and they took
Like
the
I said,
bankruptcy
that's a
and that
question for
contract
the
is
city.
gone,
That's a question for
are
the
you guys
city.
seeing here what I'm saying, Jason?
I'm just listening to you.
Okay,
Harris signed bankruptcy.
that's what I'm thinking.
I think they did.
Or one of their parent corporations, something like that. I think there's more than just to put taxes on us, and that's what you're getting ready to do again. When you don't have your budgets done, and all these other questions need to be asked, and what you're going to do.
Well, I appreciate all your comments, Sam. You're one of the best with the smoke and mirrors, getting us going in a lot of different directions. Levy, for us to function, it's gonna have to be passed. It's gonna have to be passed by next week. It expires at the end of the year. I agree, the budget process probably should be further down the road. But I don't know how willing everybody's been to work together on the budget this year. Jeff's chairman this past year, I don't know how many times did you call us wanting to work on the budget?
Very few.
So, you know, it takes three of us to get some of these jobs done. But, you know, don't blame it on me, that's fine. That's what we should do that. But the levy needs to be passed, and the budget needs to be completed. I agree with that. And, there is going to have to be some reduction, probably staffing and some cuts to make the repairs needed in the building.
Once again, normally you do your budget
I
prior
understand
to
that,
the
Sam.
levy.
Sam, I understand that.
We're over half done those pages.
So, I mean, I understand that. But I'll make a motion to go ahead and pass that county annual tax levy. If somebody wants a second, I can. Put it on the agenda for next week.
I think we just put on the agenda for next week, all right? Get a chance to talk about it, and then possibly finish the budget.
Okay. Anything else, Hank?
Is that it? It's gonna be on next week?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming in.
Information I wanted to share. I'm sorry, I've been sick, guys, so wanted to say kind of quick. And
You can share from back there if you want.
I got my tentative abstract back. I know people are gonna say, oh my gosh, a 2.29, a 0.9771 factor, and think, oh my God, he's not doing his job. I just want to get you guys to understand what this has to do with. If you turn to the next page, and I'll let you go to the next page. You see there's 3-year average, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, you take the average of 3, you get 34.11. You see in 2013, we had a 34.98. Okay, and again, this is based on when I was reassessing and doing things and making a lot of change stuff. But when the state looks at those 3-year averages, they like us to be at 33.33. Well, I couldn't put a factor on there, but if you look at 14 and 15, you'll see it's 33.89, 33.45. Up in red, I put in there what right now, today, without one more month to go, I'm looking somewhere around 33.41 or lower. So the average would be even closer to 33.33, which the state wants. Okay? I think the average would be 33.58, which would mean I would get a 1. The reason this whole thing is critical, this has to do with my reimbursement. Okay, that 3-year average, as long as you stay within the 31 and the third and 35 and the third for the 3-year average, the assessor gets a salary reimbursed. So that's not always a give me. So again, we're trending to where we're getting it near 33.33, and that's why I didn't factor it, and I'm choosing not to. I just don't want people to say, oh my gosh, you didn't get 1. we'll get them one next year. But it's just because of the massive amount of reassessment I've done in the last 4 years, the office has, that's kind of throwing some of those numbers, skewed them a little bit. But the one year I did put a factor on there and it created, that's the problem it created is this. So I should have maybe looked in retrospect and done that. But again, what it means is everybody's value is gonna be multiplied times 0.99 or 9771. So it'll come off in the following year. I just didn't want it to stay on there because we're heading in the right direction. I just kinda wanna give you a heads up, because it will, people will look at it and think something's wrong in it, and it's not. Okay? But again, as long as I'm between 31 and 35, I get reimbursed, or the county gets reimbursed on my salary, so that's the important part. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like I said, we're moving the tax cycle along, so, the way I got it. And we'll get a hold of your guys, my guys getting it set up, so that you guys will be able to access it and get it set up for file folders and pull some of that information out, so we can transfer, because this should be, like, again, we're moving forward with the new system.
You know, they came and talked to me last Friday. Was it Friday? I think it was. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be something.
Right, it's a lot of plug and play.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be easier to understand some of these reports and et cetera, but we had a few little kinks in doing our tentative abstract, but to have it done this early, I think is pretty, I mean, maybe you know how long it's usually been when we
Yeah,
get the tentative.
it's gonna help me get the tax done a lot quicker and easier
Right,
in the long run as
Right.
well.
so anyway, so that process is coming along very well, and we'll keep moving forward with it.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys have a good holiday.
Don't see you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Gary.
What is, Jeremy, you walking off?
He's had that. I know where he's going.
Garbage thing. You can leave all
I spoke to Eric Wetland with RPAW, last Friday, and I got a call into him today at 1 o'clock. We're going over, still working on these hard costs, you know, that's our list here, you know, what the expenses. I was just trying to work with him on, you know, how can we gotta get the building airtight and watertight, it's first go, right? And he said, you know,
At least watertight.
let's do the roof, the bricks, and the windows is what he would call that. He broke it down in 3 stages. First stage would be, he calls it the building envelope, but it would be the roof, the bricks, and the windows. The second stage would be mechanical, systems package, air, heat, plumbing, and electrical. And the final stage would be fixtures, finishes, paints, and things like that. You know, we did it in some type of stages or something like that. He suggested, you know, we start getting some bids and looking at getting the roof repaired, replaced, and following through on what we're going to do with the bricks. Then we can look at the windows after that. He thinks we should try to get those bids out as soon as possible. If the weather breaks, we might get lucky and have some weather in the 40s and 50s, you know, maybe sometime, and we could jump on this and try to get these issues resolved. You know, my question I asked a few weeks ago was, would you all consider borrowing against the property taxes? And I texted Dana the other day, or talked to her. It looks like the amount that we could, I wrote it down here, it'd be 80% of $456,000 is what we could anticipate up to. So we were talking about $365,000 that we could. I definitely think we could get the roof and the bricks and mortar done for that.
I think we could get the bricks and mortar that need
even bid on the job.
I don't think he ever
I
did.
don't believe he did. Judge?
He never met him, did he?
I never did see him.
Pretty set guy.
I agree with that 100%.
We go on our.
But if you
I
think we
wasn't
should-
going there.
If you think we should fix the brick first,
I guess, but I mean,
I mean, if we fix the roof,
I think it all needs to be fixed.
what it does.
So, I mean, we were told the first time to do the bricks first because we don't wanna take a chance of damaging the roof and do the bricks later. Because they're gonna be up there working and doing stuff and walking all over the roof, and they had suggested doing our QAW thought it would be best to do all the brickwork first
Oh,
and then do the roof. But either way, we gotta get moving. We can't,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, these,
that's why
We
I
have
asked
to-
Jeff if we could talk to this guy and get moving on this, if we decide to seal and, I mean, repair cracks and seal them rather than tuck point.
well,
Saves a lot of money.
we've been talking about getting on this guy for a month. We don't have his number or
Is
something.
Jameson, was that the fellow's name?
Yeah. You say none?
This is Carbondale.
Yeah. See, Jason, this guy, he said,
Was he wanting to do it,
seal. He wa-
they all need, I mean, the whole building needs a sealing on it.
Yeah. But you touch on it, they're gonna grind out all that mortar on the whole building.
The whole damn building.
Or just, maybe just even on top would be,
I think there's just very limited tuck pointing needs to be done. I think the building needs to be sealed.
But
And that's gonna be a lot cheaper on us.
our bid, that's why all them guys was questioning, what, well, even the two bids that come in was way far different, money wise.
double. That's what I'm saying. We need just to seal the cracks, that are cracked, and then spray that sealer on there. And that guy that sat right here was a professional, because he said he worked in St. Louis, had it all going all the time. Said that if they tap on it, their next step is seal it anyway. So it's meant to be sealed, whether they tap on it or not. You see what I mean?
Yes. But
So why can't we repair the cracks and then seal it? That's what I'm saying, and that's what he's saying.
and I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
I'm saying it doesn't need completely tuck point.
I don't think so either. Now, some, we need some tuck point.
Some limited tuck point. The building needs to have the ceiling put on.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay, I got a number here. You want to write it down?
What's his name, Jameson?
Jameson. I'm almost certain that's what that
I believe it was.
618 363 2763.
2663. I'll call him today.
So, do y'all give me permission to move forward with Patrick on getting some bids together, or getting some proper language to put into the paper? I don't know if they thought we need to do that.
Well, if I get hold this guy, maybe I could help you on what we need to ask for and stuff.
That, or if you want him to call Patrick directly, maybe, or whatever you guys want to do. But,
Whatever the bid is as far as tuck pointing, this is just from what I learned when it needs to be very specific as far as we want the bricks from this level up.
do you feel like, we need to ask Eric to come in town to actually measure that and pinpoint that for us?
I don't think that would hurt.
I talked to him today on the phone, and I asked him, he can actually come in town and, write down what the specs should be, like you're saying, the southeast wall, square footage
Yeah.
needs to be done, or something like this. Or is that what you're trying to say? or so much square footage has to be tucked on in.
So many feet down from the top of the pulpit wall or
Yeah, or top of the windows,
up or something.
yeah.
Alright,
You know, I guess the windows different elevations, but I think over here, you know, they're all the same.
so it's gonna be a little bit more complex with the bid for the bricks. The roof should be that,
I don't think so.
should be about what it was last time.
That roof, well, it should be similar, but we need to be prepared for
Underneath.
fixing a bunch of damage.
Alright. So, I'll ask Patrick if he can work on this, and he'll bring it to us and let us look it over before we approve it. Alright,
At least we'll all have our heads together.
okay. Windows, I'm not very concerned about that yet.
Not at this point in time. We got a much bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. So, okay. I just wanna make sure that was alright. Then, he's just gonna, we're just gonna talk today about these hard costs and see if there's anything that we can maybe, you know, whatever. Just try to get some little pricing. Okay, that's all I have. I just wanna talk about the building.
No, I got you deal here. Let's see if we're here. Looks like a Christmas tree, maybe. So, any difference